everyone. It is time for our weekly planner page. Sorry, this is very squiffy. From Johanna Basford's 2021 weekly planner. We are already on the week of the 20th of December. I can hardly believe how fast we are going. And we've got this lovely reindeer page. Now I've done this a couple of times in Johanna's Christmas. You may have seen my flip through. I've actually finished two versions. I've done a flip through of each and a comparison flip through, so you can have a look at the differences. And I wanted to do something really different. So the first time I did it with just a brown reindeer with red and green leaves and things like that, which I rather liked, I have to say. The second one I did something a bit different. I did a green background and a few bits of red and things like that. I can't remember what colour I did the reindeer. You have to look at the flip through if you want to have a look. And this time I'm going to use these pencils and these colours. So I thought I would do a sort of bluey purple and silver type look to the page. These are Prismacolor Verithins. I've picked these partly because for several reasons. For the reindeer I want to do fur, so I need something that can keep a sharp point, so these are very good for that. And they have a nice range of the colours in the shades that I wanted. If you don't have this set, fine, that's okay, but if you're going to do a similar colour scheme, you will need some pencils that will keep a sharp point. You don't have to use them for all of it, although there is some fine detail. But if you want to do fur, you need something. But you could, because I'm going to do the reindeer in grey, just, you know, for something different to do, you could do it in a normal graphite pencil. Just be careful because it can be a little smudgy. So we're going to start with our grey. Now ideally I'm just going to do a layer of grey all over to start with, a lightish layer. Now ideally I'd like several shades of grey, but I only have one. There's a warm grey and there's a cold grey, and I want cold because I want it to look more silvery, because we're Christmassy after all. So that's why I'm going for the cold grey. I think it looks a bit more silvery. Now as I say, you can use any set. Think about the greys that you've got. Now I've been thinking, like Polychromos has, if you've got the 120, you've got loads of cold greys in there, is brilliant. If you've got Prismacolors, there's cold greys there you can use, but obviously it's quite hard to keep a sharp point, which is why they produce these very thins. Black Widows, I've only got the spider set, and the grey in there, I find it's a bit dark. The Derwent Chroma Flow, they're nice pencils, they can be nice and sharp, but the grey in there is too light for me. So, you know, pros and cons to different sets, but obviously, like Arteza Expert, I would say, are a bit too soft. They don't keep a point for long. Castle as well, all mine are too dark, the greys are too dark. So, you know, there are different, this one's fairly dark, but it's not quite as dark. So, you know, it's up to you, but we're just doing a simple, colouring in really simply. So, you know, you can use anything really at this point, it doesn't matter. And it's just a matter, because you've got to get around all the leaves and things. So it's just making sure that you've got something that can get in these little gaps, which if you're colouring from the main book, from Johanna's Christmas, it's a little bit more space, it's a little bit bigger, but even so it's still fairly intricate. So just need to be a bit careful really. Gosh, it's cold today, it's quite stormy today. We're on the what's the actual date, is the 7th of December. I'm as you know, I'm getting well ahead with my videos, and it's really good fun. I've got so many I want to do, I just want to get on with them. It's lovely. Yeah, it's really, really windy, and I think it's going to rain quite hard later. My feet are really cold. I've got thick, fluffy slippers on, and I'm cold. I'm going to have to go and investigate later. I'm just working out what's going on here. We've got a leaf here, and I can't work out what that line is. I think it's the outside of the leaf. I think that bit's grey, and I think this might be a brim. Yes, there, look, it's a rim around the leaf. Sometimes it's worth just taking a few minutes to work it out. In a lot of colouring books, not just Johanna's, I sometimes have to do that a little bit if there's a lot of small detail. Just have a little look and see what's going on. Now the other colours that I've picked, I'll talk you through while I'm colouring. I wanted some really dark blues. I think they work really well with sort of silvery greys. And but I looked through my very thin set and I didn't have loads, so I picked the Ultramarine, which is the sort of darkest blue. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've got a directional line colouring this because it's fur, but you want to make sure it's going in the right direction. So think about, you know, the nose is going to be that way, yeah. Anyway, so I picked some violets as well, and I think blue and violet obviously work well together, and I think they'll work well with this colour palette. So I picked the Ultramarine, the violet blue and the violet, and I don't know if we'll use all of those or not, because I thought maybe one for the leaves and one for the see here it gets tricky because the fur will now be going this way, because there would actually be an end to the head sort of here, and then it would go to neck. So sometimes I find that a little tricky to get that working. I think that's okay. So yeah, I picked those three, but I don't know, because there are different leaves, I might do the different leaves in different colours. Yeah, we've got the flowers, and we've got flower centres, and we've got berries, although I've got an idea for the berries. So yeah, it's going to be fun. There's going to be some glitter. I'm getting really into my glitter at the moment. I suspect a lot of you are. It's a good excuse, isn't it, to get out the glitter pens this time of year, or the metallics or something like that. So that's fun. I haven't thought about the background for this either yet, but I think it needs something either within the circle or outside of the circle, or both. So I don't plan my pictures in advance very often because I can't see in my head. I can't remember the name of the condition. I can't visualize things in my head. Faces are worse. Cannot do it. Although my son reckons that faces are difficult for everybody, but I don't know. I cannot at all. But luckily I can recognize people by their face, especially once I've met them a few times. So that helps. Okay, so there is the basic, and it's really quite basic. Excuse me, it's that time of year when the nose likes to run. Now actually the tail and the hooves and the nose, now because, you know, normally I would do that red because it's like Rudolph, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to grab a black. I've opened the wrong drawer. Yeah, here's the black. I'm going to use the black for the nose and for the hooves, and I will put a bit of shine on that, I expect. So rather than doing him like Rudolph, we're just doing black. This in a red wouldn't at all match with this scheme, and I don't think that doing it in blue or purple is really going to work either. You know, as I say, I can't visualise things in my head, so I've got no idea what it might look like. But I just have to go for it and hope it's going to work. And you want that quite hard and burnished, because remember how hooves are really shiny. You could leave a shine line, but I'm not doing that because I'm going to use some white later. Now what I want to do now is to do some fur effect. No, I'm not. I'm going to do the flowers and leaves first, because I might overlap the fur over that. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to just do the tail in this colour, I think. Made up my mind. My postman has just come. It's very exciting. I'm going to go and have a look at what it is. Hold on. Oh, sorry about that. It was a Christmas card, which is rather nice, very pretty, and a very strange thing, which I'll explain in a minute. I've just sharpened this to the sharpest point I can get, and I was going to. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do the fur until we'd done the flowers, wasn't I? Right, I'm going to do the flowers in the violet. Here is the violet. And I'm going to just do the petals to start with, and do them darker at the bottom and lighter towards the tip. Now what was odd about my post was that it was a check, which sounds fantastic, but it was from my I have solar panels, and in the UK, if we had our solar panels put on before a certain date, we could get money for the energy that we generated. And the check is for that, because I take a meter reading. I have a electricity generation meter. I take a generation meter reading, and I can get some money. But they sent me a check a little while ago, like last week, and now they sent me another one. It's for the same amount of money. So I think they've messed up. I'm going to have to ring them up. So what I'm doing with these flowers is I'm trying to do a little bit more colour near the centre and fade it out towards the edge. And now I'm trying to work out whether these are petals or leaves. So I'm pretty sure they're more petals. So I'm going to do the same again. Make a more intense amount of colour there and fading it towards the tip. It's quite nice to use these Verithins because I had them for ages and I didn't really used to use them very much, but actually they're quite nice, I think. I think because I've been trying more different sets of pencils, I think that's the only flower on the deer. Now, I've got flowers here and here, which I would do in the same way, but I'm going to leave that, or else we're just going to get carried away with too much colouring. Too much colouring, is there such a thing? So now I'm going to go in with the Ultramarine to do some of the leaves around this flower. I'm going to use the same colouring technique. I'm still thinking whether I'm going to overlap the fur or whether this is on top of the fur. It's very difficult to know quite how to interpret it, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't overlap the edge of the deer, but I don't know whether that would make any difference to our decision anyway. Obviously, whatever I decide to do, you can do it differently anyway, so it doesn't matter. I like these colours together. So we're just going in darker here. If you don't like it being too faded towards the tip, seeing the paper through, you can always use a blender or a burnisher to push it into the paper a little bit more, but you won't get such a definition of difference of colour between the base and the tip, which isn't always easy to achieve on a smaller leaf anyway. So we're going to go around all of these. Has been fun doing this planner. I was given this planner for Christmas last year and I was like, oh, I never do those. But yeah, I have to do it now. And I started doing it every month, well, doing a video for every Monday for when the day came out. And not only was it very enjoyable, it's interesting because I usually colour a picture that I'm in the mood for. You know, what do I want to colour today? I feel like colouring leaves, I feel like colouring flowers, blah, 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 whatever it might be. But with the planner, you have to colour what's there, so you don't get a choice. And actually, I found that quite challenging in a fun way, to sort of push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. But also, I found that the Monday videos always seem quite popular, which is nice. I don't know whether it's because it's Monday, maybe more people are on social media, it's a complete coincidence, or whether it is to do with the fact that people like them more. You know, I don't know. But either way, just trying to work out this one. It was a bit tricky to work out before, wasn't it? Either way, I bought the planner for next year, so I'll be doing them again. And I'll be doing it in exactly the same way. So every Monday will be a planner picture, and then it may carry over 1, 2, 3 days, whatever, depending on the picture. So there are the leaves for that. Now we do have 2 other sets of leaves. We have holly, actually we have ivy, holly and mistletoe, but we only have one other colour, which is the blue violet. I don't want to go mad with lots of different colours. I have got only a limited choice anyway, but what I'm doing is I'm going to have a look at the picture as a whole, and I'm going to do 2 sets of leaves, because basically we have 4 different sets of leaves. We have poinsettia, mistletoe, holly and ivy. And I'm going to pick a pair for this colour. So this is right next to here, and so is the holly. So I'm tempted to do the ivy in this colour. I'm going to look around here to see whether there's any more overlap, and I can't really see. In fact, I think all the leaves on the outside are ivy, so I will do the ivy with this colour as well. Now the stem is joined to the holly stem. I'm just going to start it here, whoops, like that, and then when we do the holly you can just come up there with our holly colour. And I will do these leaves using the same technique, so darker in the bottom and lighter towards the top. And these sort of stems and stalks are all going to be quite hard. Just one dark layer. I think they stand out nicely. Where are we going? We've got that bit there. So, there we go. Now holly berries are going to be a challenge because we haven't got red, but I've got an idea. We're doing something a bit different, aren't we? Out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to give myself a kick and force myself to do something a little different. It's not always easy, is it? So I was, I think it was the other day, there was a comment, someone saying they can't not do green leaves. It's like, yep. I'm with you there. It's tricky, isn't it? And here I am doing bluey, purpley leaves, and it's just not what I'm used to doing. But, you know, it's going to work with my plan, I hope. So I'm doing these as ivy as well, even though they're sort of a different shape. I think they all work together. My computer's making such a noise, I don't know why. Sounds like it's processing a video, it's so loud. Now we have this bit here. I'm going to do that with this pencil too. So again, harder there and lighter there. Now we haven't done the antlers, I'm very aware of that. I have a plan for those. I'm just going to do a hard line around the edge. Keep it the same colour. There we go. Right, mistletoe and holly. Sharpen up. With the mistletoe I always like to just do it darker in the point and lighter towards the edge. And you can see this is a little bit more purpley than the other colour. Sorry, this is the violet blue. I'm probably blinding you. So I wonder how ready everyone is for Christmas. I almost am now. And as I say, I'm recording this in advance. I like to be really organised because I just think you never know what's going to happen, particularly in these strange times. You know, a shop's going to shut, not necessarily forced shut by the government, but if people get unwell, things like that. God, I was unwell yesterday. I had my COVID booster, and although I feel extremely grateful for boosters, wow, it really took me out. I was hot and shivery, had a headache, had no energy, aching, and felt really sick as well. And my son, who doesn't normally feel, both my sons had their second vaccine and they were feeling rough. One of them said he spent a lot of his time in college. He did have a free session sitting in the canteen with his head in his hands because his headache was so bad. And shivering over and over, poor thing. But this morning, so we had our injection on the Sunday. Yesterday was Monday. I know it's confusing. This video is going out on Monday. And today, Tuesday, we're all just feeling a little bit sore-armed and very much better. I've got a very slight headache, not enough to worry about really. So that's really great. And my husband, who usually suffers, when he had his first jab, we had the AstraZeneca for our first jab. When he had his first jab, he went to bed for a day. He felt so rotten. He had it on a Saturday, and on the Sunday when I went to get mine, he was in bed. And I was like, oh no, I can't come home and go to bed. I've got kids to look after. But of course I didn't. And I felt much better. I actually felt worse with this jab, but I had a headache with the last one actually, but it lasted a bit longer, so maybe getting it all over with very quickly. It was probably a good thing, really. But yeah, feeling a lot better today. And I wasn't sure if the children would go to college, but they're both feeling fine, which is good. And one of them doesn't even really need to go because he's not got like any lessons in fact. So he went in anyway. Right, we've done all our leaves, flowers and things while I chatted on. Now we're going to do fur. So I've got my sharpened cool grey. It's the cool grey 70%, by the way. It's the only cool grey in the very thin. And we're going to start drawing on some fur. Now obviously the background colour for this is this colour. So it's not going to stand out hugely, but it will make some difference. And a key thing is to go over the edge. And it's quite difficult to get out of your comfort zone and go out of the lines, but it looks more furry then. And once there's a background, if there's a background, I haven't decided yet, then that will make a difference too. Now, of course, I was saying, oh yeah, we might go over the edge of the leaves and things, but won't be able to see it anyway because this is paler colour. See here, look, we've got the indication of fur anyway in the way it's drawn, so adding a bit more in there is fine. See, I'm sort of changing my direction slightly as I go with the lines, because I think we'll be across here. Let's put a lot of fluff on that tail. I don't know whether reindeer's tails are extra fluffy, but I want it to be. Rabbits' tails are, aren't they? I'm sure it's just the same as a rabbit. It's a mammal. Like a cow, they've got a fluffy tail, obviously. Oh dear. Welcome to my madness. Children are always telling me I'm completely mad. That's good. I'm happy. There we go. Okay. Oh, leg. Now what you can do is then, oops, that wasn't good. That was just a mess. Let's just erase that. And what you can do is then go over with a black or something to put a few more obvious lines in. I'm not sure if I want to do that or if I'm happy with it like it is. I think I'm quite happy actually. But what I'm thinking about is these berries and the antlers. Let's pull it down just a tad so I can see them. What I'm going to do is get some sparkles going. So I've got a silver pen. These are my glitter pens that I'm using, and want to do the antlers in silver. Now I want to be careful to leave the black outline showing, and the reason for that is because they're overlapping. I need you to be able to see what's going on, yeah? So I want to make sure the black is showing. So this is very simple. I actually find using pens and things quite hard to cover all of it's quite hard to see because the light reflects the glitter. I can't really see what's going on with the pen, sort of thing. I'm just gonna move my head a bit to try and work out. I did a picture the other day, and when I looked at it from a different angle I'd missed half of it, but I couldn't tell. I'm just gonna turn it so I can see it a bit there. You'll be able to see better than me. It's just because of the bright light. Hopefully you can see that it's sparkly. Sparkle, sparkle. Now I'm going to do the mistletoe in this as well, because the mistletoe is, the berries are creamy white. But we're going to do something a little bit different for the holly and the flower. I'm going to try and find a colour which I think will work. Just try out my different. The problem with these pens is they don't have numbers or names, so that one's very bright. I'll just put my pad and show you what I'm doing. I'm just having a scribble to see what that. This one does have a purple, dark purple glitter, which is hard to see. There we go. But it's a very bright pink, and I'm not sure I want that bright. This one is more blue, which could work. We've got another blue here, but I have a feeling that's got a gold glitter. Let's see. No, it's quite pale, so if we have a look there, see, this blue's got a little bit of pink in the glitter and this one hasn't. So I think I'm going to go, see, this one is purple gel pen with a blue glitter, which I think is what I'm going to go for. I'm putting them all away in the wrong place. Never mind. So I'm going to go for that, for the flower centre. And then I'll have a think whether that's what I want for the blueberries as well, probably. It's quite fun just to add a little bit of sparkle. You can't really see that there's a circular bit and then little blobs, but I don't think that matters. I'm just going to turn it so I can see how much of it I've missed. Oh, it's really hard to see. And we'll do these berries too. So it's really a little bit different. So I'm going to leave that there, and I will come back tomorrow and we'll do a little bit more. We won't do too much the same. We might think about the background. I might have to have a think about what I might want to do, and a little bit of this outline as well. So there is our, let's just zoom out so you can see the whole of him, and then you can decide if that's something you want to have a go at. So thank you very much for watching, and happy colouring.